Today, I want to talk to you about how to evaluate a person's development posture in your church's leadership pipeline. Sure, I've created a 9-box to determine a person's leadership potential in your church's pipeline, but this quadrant is different. And it's a quadrant, not a 9-box, so it's a little bit simpler. It helps you determine a person's readiness and posture to assume a new leadership role at your church. So let's take a look. First, you want to rate that person's enthusiasm or commitment level, their energy for the role. Next, you want to assess their competence in the role. A person may be really enthusiastic, but not necessarily competent. So we want to make sure those two things are good to go. Now, once you assess the person's enthusiasm level and the person's competence level, we want to put them on the chart. If someone is not very committed and lacks competence, this person may be a disillusioned learner. Maybe the task is just harder than they initially thought. Maybe they didn't have success at first and they just feel like it's not working and they can't get it together. This person, man, they're a disillusioned learner. We need to move them into a different quadrant as soon as possible. If someone's committed, but they lack competence, then that person's probably an enthusiastic beginner, simply because they haven't done it before. But man, if we give them time to develop their core competencies and their role-specific competencies, they're very likely excited to do that. And that's where we want to really get them engaged and get them to a place of success early. Now, if someone is competent in a role, but they're not necessarily committed or enthusiastic, then they're capable but cautious. Maybe they were once enthusiastic, maybe they were an enthusiastic beginner, but once they got into the warp and woof of the ministry, man, they just lost their passion, they lost their drive, and maybe they're serving in a ministry out of guilt or that's not a good fit. We want to get them to a different spot. If a person is enthusiastic and competent, now that person's a peak performer. These people are likely multipliers within your organization or ministry, and they are ready for your church's next level in the leadership pipeline. So now that you know this framework and you know how to assess a person's development posture in your church, what are you going to do about it?